So I'm Krish Gupta. I'm Senior Vice President in the legal function at Dell Technologies. I manage Dell's global practice for commercial, business, and intellectual property litigation. And I also lead the teams that work on intellectual property and technology law issues for the company. And I have been associated with ACC for over 10 years. And I have served on the board of the Northeast chapter of ACC for approximately 5 years or so at this point, I believe. When I was working for EMC Corporation, EMC had a company-wide corporate membership, with the ACC, and we always found that the training resources that were available, the papers that one could access on best practices, and also conferences and seminars were a great way to not only network and meet people who had similar practice interests, but also be educated on and share best practices. It's been a tremendous experience, and I've really enjoyed working with the rest of the board over the past 5 years or so. I think you learn as a leader in your day job that setting priorities and managing your time is really important. So the way I approach this, not just my service on the board of ACC, I also am fortunate enough to serve on a few other nonprofit boards, that I set aside a certain amount of time for those interests of mine and those commitments that I've made. And like with everything else, the work comes in sort of, is sort of not steady. There are times. So, for example, I work on sponsorships with Julie, and there's a lot of effort or work on the sponsorship area right when we're going out with our sponsorship offerings, and we're thinking about what they're going to be at the beginning of a year, and getting feedback from our sponsors. But through the course of the year, it might be a little bit more steady state. So I think what I find is that if you can anticipate what's coming and plan for that time, it really is not something that is that difficult to balance. On the flip side, I do find that making that commitment also has been extremely rewarding. I have had the pleasure of now professionally and personally getting to know a number of general counsels in the greater Boston area, in the Northeast area, to be honest with you. And I can't tell you how many times I've been able to pick up the phone and call someone to either get a recommendation or a reference on counsel, or ask about how they might be approaching a particular challenging legal issue, or a new area of law, or a new regulation. And so the amount of time one puts into this service, I think you get a lot more back in return, not just for yourself, but for your employer as well, because this network is truly a network of top-notch leaders and professionals who are extremely, extremely experienced and helpful. The ACC, particularly the Northeast chapter, we have a number of committees focused on different sort of areas. There are committees on, as I said, sponsorship, on programs, on diversity initiatives. And I think if someone thinking about participating and joining and becoming active in the ACC took a little bit of time to look at the committees and the sort of work that the committee does, and find something that aligns with their interests and things that they're passionate about, and then starting out at that committee level, participating, contributing, getting to know the committee leads, and getting familiar with the organization and the work that it does is an excellent way to get involved. And if that individual aspires to then become a leader of the chapter and join the board, it's a tremendous pipeline for board members, future board members as well. And so I say that it starts with committee level work, and finding a committee that aligns with one's interest is a great place to start.